Okay, the latest Pokemon game is going to be a cross-platform MOBA. But before we get into the story, joining us this week is Chadley. Thanks for jumping on board.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Happy to have you. Okay, so Pokemon had another Pokemon Presents on 6/24, and it's solely focused on the new MOBA game for Pokemon. The game is being made in collaboration with the Chinese company Tencent Games. And, I don't know, there was mixed responses to this, but I want to know, what do you guys think of this new type of Pokemon game? Maybe Camilo, do you want to go first since you're kind of our resident Pokemaniac?
Yeah, so this is a new mobile MOBA game, so it's plays like League of Legends, but Pokemon.
Right.
I don't know. Obviously, this is for getting people, I guess, who are into League of Legends into Pokemon. I personally don't see much overlap between like the fan bases, so like I could see why the outrage was so big because like I feel like the majority of Pokemon fans don't play MOBAs. So yeah, it sounds cool, but like the way they presented it, or like I feel like they put it on the same level as like Pokemon Snap, because the first week we had the other Pokemon Presents and that had Pokemon Snap in it and everyone lost their minds. And then they do this a week later and it's a mobile MOBA game. So like I don't think they matched quite well. But I understand that how it was its own presentation, probably because Tencent probably paid Pokemon to like say, hey, we need this to be our own presentation.
Yeah, we need our own thing.
Yeah. That's
definitely what I thought too. Is that the only reason it was separate was because Tencent's like, we want an exclusive presentation for our game.
Yeah.
I want to jump in real quick and say that I probably am the overlap in that I do like MOBA games. I've played some League of Legends. I've played Heroes of the Storm probably the most. That's the Blizzard one. And I like those games. I like Heroes of the Storm because it's like a little bit more simplified. League of Legends and I think League of Legends is a little more simplified than Dota. I had a really hard time playing Dota 2 because the learning curve is very, 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 very steep. And I think the learning curve for most of those games is kind of steep because you need to understand the characters that you're playing against, and there's like 100 of them. You like really need to understand like what all their movesets are and like how to approach them in the lane. And I think that like that type of gameplay is kind of like what you were saying is like the overlap's not big. Like the people who want to invest like 100 hours into like really understanding an esport game is not necessarily the same people who, you know, want to hang out with Hal and like go catch a Pikachu. Like that, those aren't the same people. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Would you say the like interest in MOBA games is like how like complex they are and like how like there's a lot of different things you can do in MOBAs, right? Because I heard that they are like simplifying this game down to like there's not even like type advantage in the game.
Right. But I think that's to make it so that like if you have, well, I mean, you can't have multiple, usually in a MOBA, you can't have like, if somebody picked Charizard, if somebody picked Charmander, like you can't have another Charmander. So I think it's maybe to like keep the game more balanced so that you don't have like, oh dude, like we have like a bunch of like water types on one side and a bunch of fire types on the other side. Clearly you're just going to get obliterated. Like what you need to do is like maybe be more strategic with like, you know, the way that you move down the lanes and the way that you like attack or flank or and that kind of stuff. I think they just tried to eliminate like a potential like imbalance in the game. But like, you know, it's kind of weird to do that because like Pokemon's whole battle system is sort of based on that. So like, wouldn't it make sense to make a MOBA where type advantage actually matters? I don't know. Well, but yeah, I think I was sorry. Go ahead, John.
Oh, I was thinking Cam was saying that the Pokemon community doesn't really overlap with the MOBA community, but I think the whole point of this game is to bring people from the MOBA community over to Pokemon. Like it's like brand recognition. So if you get some people that played those MOBAs to check out the mainline Pokemon games, then it's working. It'll probably will be a simplified MOBA. It'll probably be easier to get into. So maybe
I think absolutely.
Maybe it's geared towards a younger audience. MOBAs are huge over in Japan and Asia,
and Korea.
So I think that's what they're aiming for. They're trying to get a new audience to check out their other properties.
Yeah, totally. Do you have any thoughts, Chadley?
Yeah. I was just about to say, it's an area that they've never really gone to with Pokemon. So for me, I'm not super excited about the game. I mean, I'm not a huge Pokemon fan by any means. I've only played a few Pokemon games and barely can remember the type advantages. So, but I
use a chart.
Yeah, that's what I did too when I was doing my playthroughs. Yeah.
I just attack and hopefully it
just get them leveled up enough that it doesn't really matter. So, but yeah, it does seem interesting, like how if there's not going to be any type advantaging, then they're obviously going to have to make their move sets be. I'm wondering if they'll go that route of like certain Pokemon will be better as like support characters versus laning characters, and whether some of their attacks will be more like of a ranged attack versus like melee attacks. I mean, if they approach it that way, I mean, obviously they have enough Pokemon that they could pull from that there would be Pokemon that would work better as melee, some would work better as ranged, and so on and so forth. I mean, okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's cool because what they do sometimes with these like freemium games is they launch it with like, you know, X number of characters to play as, and then the life of the game is extended because they're always adding new characters. And I think it'd be exciting for people who get into this game to be like, oh man, like finally. I mean, I was gonna say Gengar, but Gengar's definitely in it. But like
Charizard's finally in a game.
Yeah, was Mimikyu in it? Like, I'm trying to think of like a Pokemon that I really liked that I played.
They didn't show a lot, but I didn't see Mimikyu.
Yeah, so like like if like maybe like down the line, like a year from now, they drop Mimikyu and I'm like, oh yeah, and he can like go underground and maybe like people can't see him because he does like a shadow move or something. Like, I just think that would be cool to like, if you were really into Pokemon, to like get these like, not like DLC, but like, you know, new characters added to keep the game alive.
Yeah, I wonder how they'll monetize it, because normally with like MOBAs, a lot of it's the skins and like the champions themselves. I think you have to buy as well.
You could buy the champions as well. Yeah, I was gonna say that.
So I wonder if you're gonna have to buy Pokemon to use, which seems like something that they wouldn't do, but I don't know how else they would monetize it.
Dude, the way they do it with Heroes of the Storm is like when the character first drops, it's like $10 or $15, but then like the longer that the character is out, it drops to these different like price tiers. So like it like incentivizes you to buy the character right away. So that's one way that, you know, Heroes monetizes that type of thing.
Yeah, and with League
cosmetics.
Yeah, with League, it's like some stuff is in-game points that you gain. Other stuff you have to use money for. So, I could easily see them doing that with the Pokemon game, where they'll slow roll new champions, I guess you could call them, out into the game, and obviously then you're gonna have all these people who are like, oh, I love that Pokemon, so they're gonna scarf it right up if they're really into the game or whatever. But then they might also offer, because they didn't really mention anything about in-game, like a in-game currency type system. At least I didn't see that in the trailer anyway, where like there's a lot of those games, you get experience points, you get like in League they call it Blue Essence, and then you can use that for like skins and stuff like that. But I don't think I remember seeing anything in the trailer about Pokemon doing something similar.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see how they do that. I mean, I would imagine that they will definitely implement something like that. All right, so I want to move on to our last question for this topic. So I think a lot of people were really expecting something a lot different from this announcement because, like Camilo was saying, there's not a huge overlap in those two fan bases. And this is something that I've talked about at length before, and I just really want to get your guys' opinions on it. Do you think the uproar was justified, or is this just another example of Pokemon fans being dissatisfied regardless of what was said?
I think Pokemon needs to work on their PR or something.
Yeah,
because
I think it was completely justified.
Because if you say, "Hey, check out this awesome announcement that's going to happen a week from now,"
right?
Of course, people are going to think, "Oh, Gen 4 remakes," and maybe I was seeing stuff like "Let's Go Johto," Pokemon Z, like. People's minds just go wild, and then it comes out to be a mobile game for a genre that the Pokemon fans aren't used to.
Cross-platform, it's on Switch. It's on Switch.
If you watch that trailer, I think I forget his name, but like the president, the Pokemon president, he was playing on Switch, and the frame rate was kind of shoddy compared to the mobile ones.
Oh, yikes. Gosh, I can't believe that. That stuff blows my mind. Like, how can my iPhone run? I mean, I guess because it costs 5 times the amount of money. It's just kind of this crazy. Yeah, I mean, I've said this 100 times. I think that it does. I think the expectation was set weirdly, and I think that specifically for this announcement, that's why it was received so poorly. But I think in general that Pokemon fans, and I don't know if it's the average age of Pokemon fans that are on the internet who are the vocal minority or what it is, but I think it doesn't matter what is said. They just get so upset and so angry, and it doesn't matter what they say. Like, if it isn't the exact thing that they asked Santa for, they're gonna have a hissy fit. So
I mean, I get where Pokemon is coming from. They like want to like break into this new market. Like they didn't technically do anything wrong, but I don't know. It's just like you just expect something, and then it's like something complete. Like if Pokemon had just like dropped a trailer, or like it wasn't a live stream, they just like dropped this like announcement video, and they hadn't announced it beforehand, I don't think anyone would have complained. They would just be like,
I 100% disagree with you.
Or if the presentations were swapped.
I mean,
or
some people would have complained, but like not to the degree that it is now.
I think if they dropped a Pokemon MOBA trailer and didn't have a Pokemon Presents, that trailer would have the same like to dislike ratio.
I don't know about that.
I don't think so. No.
Really?
Because everyone disliking it was because they were like thinking the whole week, like, oh my god, this is gonna be Diamond and Pearl remake. This is gonna be Let's Go Johto. It's gonna be something like, I don't know, Coliseum remakes or something like that.
Right, but like, dude, tamper down your expectations, kids. Like, come on.
It's the internet.
Like, no, I know, but like, dude, I'm also on the internet, but like, I guess I'm not 12. Like, I think that's honestly what it is that like, literally the response is like anybody who has, and I'm going to say it for the 100th episode in a row, anybody who has access to their mom's Galaxy Tab 3 has access to write a comment, to tweet, to dislike, to like, to do whatever on the internet with complete anonymity. And I think these are the types of people who don't have fully developed like brains to like just not be like rage upset when like, you know, what I said, like they don't get their Christmas present.
But yeah, there are people out there like, yeah, there will be like, I don't know, a few thousand dislikes. I don't think there would be 150,000 dislikes on it, but that's me.
I think that's the majority.
I think
Chadley, where do you feel?
I feel like almost like if they would have just swapped it with the announcement for Pokemon Snap, it would have been a totally different story. Just that game alone, you could tell with them making that announcement in the first live stream that they did the week before. It was like everybody was talking about that. Everyone was super excited about it because they loved playing it back on the Nintendo 64. So I really feel that if and again, we mentioned it already, but I agree with Tencent probably had a big role in having it be the way it was. So it may have been out of Pokemon's control because we know I've read a few things about Tencent because I know aren't they the company that's like helping Nintendo get like the Switch in other markets, overseas and stuff like that. So it's like because they brand it as a Tencent system instead of a Nintendo system and things like that.
They have to do that. I remember that to get into China.
But this is Tencent's way of like. Because they wanted to branch out into like game development. They want to get their name out there. They want to try to make something of the company other than just being this company that's helping Nintendo get into other markets. So I feel like Tencent is the one that set this whole thing up. And Pokemon was like, okay, we'll do it. Because I see them not having a separate announcement. Like I could easily see them having this game be at the end of that first announcement.
Yeah.
And everything would have been fine. No one would have complained. No one would have said anything. They were sort of, oh, cool. This game looks kind of neat. It might be okay. Maybe it's not my thing, but you know what? I don't have to play it type of thing. Yeah. We got Pokemon Snap at least type of thing. And
well, it was the same thing with Cafe Mix. Like that was just thrown into the last one, and nobody batted an eye. Like that, people.
That's a pretty harmless game, and it doesn't It doesn't like. I think my point from earlier is that like, it's. I agree that like the Tencent having it be a different thing like probably did like you guys are probably right like that probably did have a really big effect on it. But like then you look at like how Sword and Shield was handled, how the DLC was handled. It's like those weren't like things that were because of Tencent, but they still got hated on like hardcore. Like there is some toxicity in this community that like it's not they're not two separate things. I think it's like a mix.
Yeah, they just have super high expectations of what to expect. I think because obviously they had a big problem with the national decks not being included, that kind of thing, and it's like they could eventually have it all in there, and maybe that was their plan all along. They just didn't want to say it, and because obviously if they can use that as leverage for DLCs and having a reason for a DLC to say, oh, we're adding some more Pokemon in that were not originally in the first release, and now you have that, you're that much closer to having a national dex with Pokemon Sword and Shield and all that kind of stuff. So
I think that makes a ton of sense. And I think that once you saw that like, oh, look, we're adding all these Pokemon in the DLC, you're like, oh, that probably was their game plan. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there, like 100%. Any final thoughts on Pokemon Unite? Who's downloading it?
I think it's a cool concept. It was a bad delivery.
Yeah. I'll probably download it. It's free.
I think I'm gonna try to play it like seriously. I'm gonna give it like a real go.
I'll probably try it. I mean, it's free, so I mean, it can't hurt to try it at least. And the fact that it's on the Switch, and I'm not gonna play it on my phone. Like I can't stand playing those types of games. Like because like my whole family plays League of Legends and stuff on the computer. And it's like they have that Mobile Legends version. Like I don't want to touch anything I can play on a PC. I don't want to touch it on my phone. Like I just don't. But so I'll probably try it on the Switch. I do want to say though, I think they are missing a great opportunity here to have the game come to PC.
Yeah, I think it should be on PC too.
Yeah. I feel like it's a free game, so what they're not missing out on anything by having it be ported over to PC and being able to have the whole PC community be able to play another Pokemon game on PC, because the only one that's there is the trading card game.
Yeah, the trading card game.
So
that's actually, that'd be so smart of them to do. I would absolutely play this on PC over any other platform. Cool. All right, well, we will bring you guys more Pokemon Unite news as we hear it, and here's hoping for some announcements of the remakes sometime soon.
Thank you so much, Chadley, for co-hosting with us this week. If you'd like to check out his content, all of his links will be in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.